in this day and age, it's never been so hard to focus on yourself, to lock in, to go and stay focused on the path that you have ahead of you, rather than, all your friends, all the people that are around you. Because, we have social media, we have all these different things. We have our phones, which we can scroll, we can see into the lives of literally millions of people within seconds, all at our fingertips. We've never had this much exposure to other people, to other people's paths, to other people and what their goals are. And, this comparison thing that happens, all these different issues. And it's like, how do you focus on yourself? How do you not focus on, even your own friends? How do you really focus and build yourself into the person you want to become, who you want to be, who you need to be for the future, for the different things that you want to achieve in life? This is a part of a new video series where every single Wednesday, I'm gonna go and respond to one of you guys' questions in a community post, or whether it's Instagram DMs, whatever it may be. You ask me questions and I'm just gonna answer and give the wisdom and the knowledge that I can to, give you the solution and, help you improve, whatever it may be. It's Ask Me Anything, an AMA, as they call it now. So I'm just literally ask anything, and that's the entire point. So that is what we're going into in today's video. So I don't know if I'm going to reveal usernames and all, because I don't know if people have personal stuff. I don't want to make them. I don't know. You guys would have to say if you want me to give you a little tag or something in the video. But that's what I'm gonna get into. So how do you focus on myself more and not worry about being attached to people? So maybe something about that. So how do you not focus on other people and focus on yourself? That is one of the hardest things to do in this day and age. And the first step, I would get in your mind that first, your friends and all these other people are not your enemies. You have to get that into your mind. There's so many other people. I know there's so many people in self-improvement and all these different spaces that make you think that every other person that does not have the same goals as you, does not have the same visions, does not have the same track in life, is your enemy. That's how so many people get tricked into thinking their own friends are their enemies, and it completely push them away, not in a mature way, but in a way to where just no, you're my enemy. You're trying to stop me. You're all just evil. No, people are not your enemy. There are people that disagree with you. They're going to be people that don't necessarily agree with you, that aren't on the same track and plan as you. But that is perfectly okay. You have to accept that. Learn to accept that. And the sooner you realize that, you're going to realize that, okay, these other people, they don't matter as much as I think they do. These people are not all up against me. And it's not this huge circle of everyone trying to attack me, which hopefully that's not happening in your life. But, there's small cases where that actually happens. But for the most part, people are not your enemies. They are not the people trying to attack you. And that really helps you realize that, hey, okay, since all these other people aren't trying to attack me personally, even though they don't agree with me, even though it's not the same exact plan that they have, we don't walk across the same path, and we don't have the same end goal, that is perfectly fine. That is how you realize that helps you ensure that, your friends do not become people that you hate. Because when you focus on yourself, when you're trying to focus and not be distracted by all these other people, then you start having to pour more time into yourself. You're gonna have to be in larger periods of isolation. And I know that's not necessarily the easiest thing to hear, but it is a true fact. When you're focusing on yourself, when you're trying to build yourself, there are gonna be periods of time where you just need to be in a bit more isolation. It doesn't mean completely isolated, in the woods or in a cave, or Master Oogway, from Kung Fu Panda, in a cave with water or something. It doesn't mean any of that. But what it does mean is you have to spend a bit more time with yourself. Because the thing is, when you have other people, when you have all these other influences around you, then you're being influenced heavily by, someone might say something and you're like, oh yeah, maybe that's right. Or someone else says the exact opposite. And it's all these different opinions. Imagine there are all these different people talking around you and all these different opinions, and it's all swarming around yourself. That's what you do with social media. That's what you do with all these different things. When you just listen to every single person, then it ends up stopping you from being able to understand your own thoughts, understanding what you actually think. What are your actual morals and values and the things that you actually want to achieve in life? So that is the second thing. You have to realize that you're going to be a bit more isolated. You have to be able to be fine with being alone. And that's something that comes as you mature, as you get older. There are lots of people that, even in their 30s to this day, they struggle with being alone. But I think the sooner you're able to realize that, sometimes it's good to have alone time, then the better it is going to be for you. You're going to be in a more mature mindset. You're going to be able to fully understand your thoughts. You're going to fully understand your emotions. You're going to be able to understand yourself at a deeper level, which is ultimately so important as a person is growing. If you want to continue to develop and continue to improve upon yourself, if you continue to, stay focused on a vision and a plan and all the things that you want to stay on top of, then you have to be able to understand yourself to a deeper level. And I don't mean to sound out like some like weird guru person, but it is just a naturally true thing. As you grow, you begin to learn more things about yourself. You begin to look back at certain things a part of your life and you're like, oh, maybe that's a reason that this is happening. And this is actually something I talked about in my last newsletter, which you can subscribe to in the description below. You can join the newsletter, the Rising Generation Be Driven by Purpose. And that's one of the things I talked about in the last newsletter about how it's so important to really look back, and it helps you really look at yourself and you're like, these are some interesting things. So that's all a part of being in a smaller period of isolation. Now, the third thing is set up goals. When you set up goals, set up systems as well with it. When I say goals, I mean goals and systems along with like what you're trying to achieve. Goals are important, but there's so many people, they say, oh yeah, I'm going to achieve this. I have this goal. I want to make this amount of money. I want to get this career. I want to be with these types of friends. All these different things. It's so easy to make goals and vision boards and all that. And I'm not saying those are bad. Those are great things. It's phenomenal to start with goals. It's so important to have goals in life. But the next important thing, which I think is even more important than that, is to set up systems along with those goals. When you're trying to focus on yourself and to be able to pour a bit more time into yourself, what keeps you on that path, what keeps you from getting distracted, from branching off, from going off somewhere else that you're not supposed to, or something that is just not gonna be the best management of your time, the best use of your time, you have to set up systems. These systems that you have, they help you stay to the goal. Like when you have a goal, let's say you have a goal, you want to make $100,000 in 12 weeks, so like 3 months. You want to make $100,000, right? Okay, so you're like, okay, how do I make $100,000? Like, everyone can put that goal, but very few people ever actually make $100,000. So the point is with that is you set up a system. You're like, okay, I want to make $100,000, but what do I need to do to actually make money? Let's say, you're an online creator, right? And you have digital products. So you're like, okay, if I sell these digital products, like let's say they're $100, then that means I have to sell about 1,000 of them, 1,000 of this product to be able to go and achieve that goal. Okay, so that's the first thing, that part of the system. I need to go and sell 1,000 of them to make $100,000. Now, how exactly am I gonna set them up? Does that mean that, okay, hey, I'm gonna market these a bit more on my channel? Is this what I'm gonna do with my newsletter? Is this gonna do on my TikTok page or my Instagram page or whatever it may be? What is the strategy? Okay, okay, let's say you decide you're marketing with your YouTube channel and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna make these types of videos and I'm gonna integrate it into these different parts, this call to action, like a call to action like I did with my newsletter just now, like how I just mentioned it, because you won't really know about it until you mention it. So that's the same thing, it continues to branch off. That is basically what a system is. People like to think that systems are the super complex thing that is super hard to understand, that is difficult to really grasp. And no, it's not. Systems are quite easy. What you want to do, you just want to approach it from an area of deduction. So deduction is that the right word? I think that's the right word I'm using for it. Yeah, like deduct. Yeah, to deduce. Yeah, deduction. So deduction is basically you have a larger goal right up here and you continue branch it off. So and that branch, you continue branch off. So imagine I don't know if you ever did in math where things keep branching off, branch and branch and branch, and it continues to branch off of each other. And then that's how you exactly know. So everything that you're doing, this wider path, it continues to narrow down, almost like in the shape of a Christmas tree or a triangle. That is the path that you have to take to set up systems. It's not something super complex. It's not something this overly oh my gosh, I have to get this down to the very last number. No, it's a part of life. If you can only control what you do, you can't exactly control the outcomes of everything in life. And when you realize that, you're gonna be like, okay, that means systems are important. Whatever I do affects my life. So every single step that I take, every single thing that I watch, every single thing that I listen to, the things I spend my time on, those are all so crucial and so important. And my system is, I use a 12-week year, which you can get a Notion template for in the description. That's just what I personally use. You can have other systems. Lots of other people, they like to write it down. Other people, they like to have a big physical calendar on a wall and they like to write things down. It just depends on what you use. I personally like to use Notion. Other people have their own different tools, and you have to find out what works best for you. Not every single person, we are not all the same person. We all have different goals, different paths in life. So it just means that you have to find what caters best to you, and that's okay. Don't feel ashamed that, oh, like you don't really like writing stuff down. You like to keep your stuff online. No, that's fine. And if you don't like really online stuff and you like physical stuff, then do that. That is exactly what is important. When you focus on yourself, you have to realize that it is you. And I don't mean this in a selfish way, but realizing that, like selflessly, that, okay, a lot of this depends on you, the people that you want to help, the value you want to give, all the different things you want to accomplish in life, all these different things, it all depends on you at the end of the day. You cannot control every single thing in life, but you can control your reactions to things. Like one example I'd like to give is when people say like, oh, they're like, you don't know their backstory. You don't know what the hard things they've been through. Yeah, a lot of us, most people have been through hardships. Most of us have been through very difficult things. I have personally in my life, I've been through all these different things. I have my own testimony video on this channel. But one thing that is so, like a valid point that I really like to give to every single person who likes to think that way, it's like, oh, you're not in control of your response or reaction. But think about it this way. Imagine a child, he has a father that likes to get drunk, and unfortunately his dad breaks out in violence or tantrums or all the different things. And the son sees that growing up and is like, man, like he sees this alcoholism in his own father's life. He sees it in his family, and he sees this issue. He has two choices. One, you might see one person and they're like, oh, I saw that growing up and I'm going to repeat in the same footsteps. I'm going to do the exact same thing. So that's how you have like all these people that they have lineages where they're drinking, where they're getting drunk, where they have issues with that. And that's something that is so unfortunate and so sad, but that is their choice. That is how they're responding to it. They're like, okay, because I saw it, I'm okay with it. Even if it caused me pain, I'm just going to continue to do it and then put it on the next generation. Or that person has the exact same choice to go, you know what, that caused me pain. I saw that it caused pain to my mom, to my family, to other people. This caused pain to my own father's life because of his own actions that he was doing. And I don't want to carry that on. And I'm never going to drink, or I'm going to be a person that drinks responsibly, only a few times a year, or something like that. They choose to be responsible rather than following in the same footsteps. That is the exact same thing. When you are in life, you have choices that impact you immensely. The things that happen to you, they might happen to you, but you inevitably choose how you respond. Just because something happened to you doesn't give you an excuse to repeat the same actions, repeat exactly what they're doing. You have a choice at the end of the day. And the sooner you realize that your own choices affect your own life and the things that you act upon the most are what you're going to reap the most, then you're going to understand that, okay, every single thing that I'm doing is important. It's going to give you a level of urgency. It's going to give you a deeper level of understanding that, hey, okay, when I do this is the reward I'm going to give. Like it's like how value, if you provide value to someone, you're going to get value back in return. Not necessarily always monetary, but it might be in a friendship. It might be in some sort of connection. And it doesn't always come immediately, but it always comes back. What you reap is what you sow. It's an important principle that every single person needs to learn. And that is how you stay focused on yourself. That is how you put on your blinders. You realize that, okay, every single thing that I'm doing is so important. So that means the actions of others, what everyone else is doing, and it might not line up with what I want. So that means I have to truly focus on my own path. I can't be distracted by these other people. I can't be distracted by their own actions. And whatever they do might affect them, might be what they want to do in life, but that doesn't mean that is what I'm going to follow. And another thing to help, along with focusing on yourself is find a community, find maybe like some friends, like this online community I'm building as well. I have community posts in the YouTube comments. You can comment down below, join the newsletter. You can even DM me, Instagram, all these different things. It's building community of similar people that, they might not have the exact same goal as you, but they are focused. They're focused on a goal, on a path, and that helps you stay focused as well. Because when you look at them, they're gonna be like, oh, wait, they're focused on their goals. Let me be like that. That's why it's so important to cater who you listen to in music, who you watch on like YouTube and all these different social platforms. If you watch a bunch of people that are just living extravagantly and they don't have a life that is really any meaning, it doesn't have any purpose, it kind of just draws you away, just makes you feel like, oh, okay, they're super rich and they don't really like have any purpose for it. They don't really do anything with it. Then you're just gonna be like, oh, well, that's kind of what money is, rather than seeing it as something where you provide value and you get value in return. So really curate that's the word I was looking for. Curate your algorithm. Curate your algorithm on social media, your music, what you watch in movies, all these different things, they all help build you up and are so important. And that is exactly how you focus on yourself and not get distracted by other people. You do all those different things and watch. You're gonna be set up in life. Watch. You're gonna be Tell me in a year from now, 6 months from now, you're gonna see the difference. You're gonna see like, oh, working out because you're so focused on that, because you're not focused on, everyone else might be eating out, but you decide, let me eat healthy. Other people might say, oh, let me have a cheat day. You're like, no, I'm not doing a cheat day. I'm not gonna cheat myself at all. I'm gonna stay focused on that. And you're gonna watch, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I got ripped, I got jacked, like, oh, like I got all these different things, like other people are spending your money, all your friends are spending your money on like, kind of dumb things. And you're like, let me save. Let me spend the time to build a habit of saving now and then watch yourself later take off and have wealth. And you're like, and then that's when everyone's going to come to you and be like, man, how do I get like that? How do I do that? And it all comes down to you focused on yourself. You spent time on focusing on your own goals and building the systems and branching off and realizing that every single small step that you take, every single small thing you do leads to a greater purpose, leads to a greater end goal in life. And that is exactly what it is. Subscribe and like this video. If you did, comment down below if it helped you in any way. And leave comments of what you want me exactly to talk about in the next video. I can talk about like things, whether it be, college or school or all these different aspects of life. Whatever it is, ask me. If it's a more personal thing, you can always DM me. I'm always open in my Instagram DMs. You can always ask. All these different things, you can always ask. And welcome back until Wednesday for the next one of this. And Friday, I'm putting out a video. And it's going to be, Fridays are when I put up my more like cinematic-esque videos. And yeah, if you want to watch another video on how to build purpose and how to truly pursue purpose and live in a purpose pursuit, then you can watch this playlist right here where all my videos, they literally lead you on how to actually focus on your purpose and realize your purpose and truly pursue and actually achieve it in life. So watch this playlist right here, comment down below, and see you guys next video this Friday.